Hey ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. As always, it is Nick here, back with your daily crypto news and analysis. And today we're going to be talking about Xinfin, aka XDC. So let's just dive in. And let's start off with this tweet that I tweeted out earlier today, or actually yesterday I should say. And we do see XDC is one of those assets no one cares about until it does a 10,000% plus move. And I recently talked about this in my Casper video as well. I was like, nobody really cares about these tokens when they are at the bottom. We've seen this with Matic. During all of 2020, nobody cared about this token. It launched back in like 2019, traded at cents, and all of a sudden it got listed on Binance, and that's when the craze happened in 2021. It jumped all the way up to like 30 some plus cents. Actually, it jumped up to like about 50 cents. And that's when everybody was interested in it. And then it did a massive run from the bottom over here all the way to the top, over 700%. We could even go off of the bottom down here, and it would be over, like, this is a 70,000 plus percent run up. So this thing did over like an 800x. And then we have ADA as well. Again, nobody cared about ADA. By the way, this is losing a very strong support zone for anybody who is in ADA. But ADA nobody cared about as well until YouTubers started to shill it like crazy. 180%, 180x, 18,000%. Like, this thing did a crazy run too. Solana did like a 500x, 50,000% plus run. I mean, these tokens do absolute monstrous moves, and then everybody wants to focus on them then. I look at XDC and I'm like, well, a 10,000% run up from here would be like $2 and like 20 some cents. Now don't get it twisted. XDC has done a nice run. I'm not going off the scam wick down here, going all the way back to June of 2019, but I will go off of the support range from that time. And this thing did do roughly from the bottom to the top here a 47,000% run up. So this thing did do a very nice run all the way from these 2019 lows to the topping point here, but I don't believe that this is done. In fact, I think that this could do a very similar run from like XRP's range, going all the way back to like 2017, 2018, when it surprised a lot of individuals from like cents to dollars. And yeah, I mean, I've been looking at the fib levels on this one as well, just to give you guys a quick insight. So fib levels don't really take it to the $2 plus range. Do I think that the $2 plus range is still possible? Yeah, sure. But it's going to take a lot of volume as well as a lot of traction to get it to that point. One thing that I have been looking at is around like the 83-cent zone. That's just like a de-risking area for me. It's a 40x. I think that that's a great area to look at. And then the last fib outreach would be about $1.42, which would still be about a 6,000 plus percent run up, a 66x opportunity. But again, do I think that it could run to $2 plus and get to the 10,000% plus move? Yeah, 100%. It's just going to take a lot more, volume as well as value to be jumped into XDC. It's going to need to have a lot more hype around it as well. Right now, again, like I said, XDC is extremely overlooked. Nobody's really talking about it. On balance volume looks absolute garbage. So we need a lot more volume in. We need a lot more traction here. And also, by the way, for anybody who is looking to buy XDC, pay attention to the demand range that we have here. If we lose this area at about like 2 cents, I would prepare, because there's not a lot of support until down in this range down here at like fractions of a cent. So definitely watch to see if this is going to hold here, because if this does not hold, then yeah, we are in for some significant drops, which could be down to like the 1 cent to like a half a cent zone, just to prepare you guys for the worst case scenario. And even then, by the way, this is, to me, a very incredible opportunity as well, because even to the all-time high, this would be about a 36x opportunity, and a 10,000% run up would put it at about 53 cents, and I think it was like 83 cents or so. 83 cents or so, that would be like a 160x opportunity if we get down to that level, which, again, if we lose this range here, that would be the next major demand zone. So look at that. But also, we do see over here from Anderson, we do see, isn't it interesting that XDC was one of the first blockchains supported on Overledger at it before a lot of, before a lot of much more popular blockchains, quite telling there will be enterprise demand for the token. And yeah, I do think that there will be a lot of demand for XDC. I think that Xinfin itself is going to empower a lot of these major enterprise grade names, as well as like financial institutions within the trading or the trade finance area, which has always been my big focus point. Trade finance has been a big area around XDC, and we are getting there. We are moving pretty quick. But also, I do believe that XDC is right on the same level as like XRP and even XLM. We do see over here from Fairy_Digit as well as XDC_news. Things are getting interesting. XDC is not a normal asset, and we do see proposal collaboration to create a new global reserve asset on the Xinfin/XDC network governed by a DAO. And here you guys have proposal, collaboration to create a new global reserve asset on the Xinfin/XDC network governed by a DAO. The ultimate goal of this initiative is to empower communities worldwide by creating an open source low-code application ecosystem for future education and economic systems to be recreated on the XDC network in order to keep up with today's technological advances, which simultaneously leads to the creation of a decentralized world reserve asset created by donations made on the Xinfin network, which would obtain its stability by being backed by digital gold in the form of CGO tokens, which, by the way, CGO, we've talked about them in the past. They are a pretty big name in the space around like gold. I think that that's Comtech Gold. I'm pretty sure. I might be wrong on that, but CGO tokens are very interesting around the digital gold area. Again, this could very well happen. We don't know if this is going to happen, but this is something that I've been watching for around Xinfin. As we do see a lot more of these initiatives coming out around Xinfin, they could very well provide a lot more value to the network. And a lot of people ask me, like, where do you see XDC in this? Because, you know, XDC is a token on its own. XDC would mainly be utilized for gas fees that are accumulated through something like this, which, if it is a reserve currency or a reserve asset in this case, it would create a lot of value, because this would empower a lot of the largest companies around the world, as well as around finance and things like that. So very interesting. I thought this was very cool to mention, because again, there's not a lot of talk around how big XDC could be, similar to, like, for example, like the XRP ledger, or even Stellar, and all these other major like mainstream tokens, because XRP and XLM are very large, but they have been around forever, so it's almost a guarantee that they would be as large as they are. But XDC, pay attention to XDC. It's doing some pretty large things. And we do see over here from Glendale AG, the UK brings its shipping rules out of the Victorian era and into the digital age. Coalition for Reimagined Mobility. Focus on the UK. They were one of the big ones around trade finance to really kind of push for digitization. And I do think that when we look at just, in general, like trade finance, it's going to leak into every aspect around trade. And I think that digitization itself is going to continue to empower these large names within trade, within finance, etc., to continue to emerge as, the first innovators within the digital age. And I think that's going to really kind of leak into every industry as well. It's not just going to be finance, trade, etc. It's going to be everything. And you can kind of see this as well, even with like Hedera, with some of the partnerships that Hedera has, and even the partnerships that Ripple has as well. Most of them are payments, sure, but you also see like the other ones around tokenization within real estate. I mean, everything is happening so fast around the space. I don't think people are really kind of realizing the value that could be unlocked here. And also talking about Ripple, you guys probably seen my video from the other day with XRP. It was more so around security. Here was the tweet just for reference that I utilized in that video from Bank XRP. This is with securities, tokenization around securities, all that kind of stuff. And yes, XDC with Xinfin could be utilized here for issuance, as well as things around transferring these tokens, life cycles of these tokens, all that kind of stuff. And we do see over here From XDC Foundation, congratulations to Securrency for receiving a U.S. patent on its compliance-aware token framework. They have been working with Securrency in the past. These are two that I've been focused on as well, like Securrency with Xinfin. Again, you don't really see Xinfin, XDC mentioned quite a bit from Securrency, but they are doing some pretty big things within tokenization, and it's more so based around, liquidity. But this is going to be a big area to focus on, tokenization. And we even do see from Impel, eyed by governments, digital assets will reduce cost, boost liquidity, and bring new investors into global trade. Again, this is all centered on really just, you got to understand the efficiencies that digital assets can provide for a lot of these major industries as well as sectors. I think that when we look at governments in general, they will try to utilize digital assets to the best of their abilities around almost every aspect that they could. Because at the end of the day, digital assets and digitization are going to boost the efficiencies that we have been striving for so long, specifically around trade finance, finance itself, and again, it's something that you can't overlook. It's something that you can't ignore. The efficiencies are there. There's just one thing stopping it all. And when you really kind of look at that, what it is regulations. We do see over here, we sat down with Andre Kasserman of the XDC network to discuss how governments globally are laying the regulatory and legal groundwork for blockchain-powered trade finance. And yeah, this is where the big money comes into play. It's the fact that you need to focus on the big thing, which is regulations. We do see here from Andre Kasserman, my view, digital assets are here to stay and getting entrenched into law. Future is bright for those focusing on advanced innovations. Specialization is key. And we do see down here in a time of industry uncertainty, Andre Kasserman sits with blockchain or blockdata_tech to cover the steady adoption of digital asset tech, highlighting XDC network and how governments are laying regulatory and legal groundwork for blockchain-powered trade finance. And yeah, I really do think that, without these regulatory, laws, I don't think that digitization is going to morph into the giant that it's really kind of perceived to be. I've always said we need proper regulations for assets like XDC to truly mature into the value proposition that they were always meant to. I think that XDC going forward will play a vital role around a lot of these major areas that we focus on, especially finance and trade finance. But the problem is there's one thing holding it all back, and that is regulations. I even say this a lot with QNC, with XRP, XLM, or any token that I talk about, because a lot of these are utility grade assets. When we look at a lot of these values that are created from these tokens, a lot of this is all speculation, all hype. Again, like I said, I think that XDC definitely deserves to be in the top 25, top 10, and eventually the top 5. But the problem here is that these are not hype tokens. You're not going to see the Xinfin team saying, "Hey, let's pay a couple YouTubers to talk about XDC. Let's get the name out there. Let's try to hype this up as much as possible." No, they're not going to do that because, again, they're not here to just create hype and say, "Okay, well there we go. We got the 70,000% pump, the 180,000% pump, whatever." They are here to create value that is everlasting. And I think that, again, when we look at a lot of this market, there's really only a fraction of tokens that are actually creating value that are here to stay. And it's going to be centered on utility. And listen, I'm here for XDC. We are definitely focused on this, but I will say there's a few things that I'm watching for to see if we break down even further to some of these. These are life-changing opportunities ahead if we do see these breakdowns. But one thing's for certain, I'm definitely watching XDC closely. I'm focused on XDC. I think that going forward, this thing could easily push up above $1 plus. But we definitely have to wait and see what happens because, again, there's a lot of listing opportunity here for XDC. There's a ton of opportunity for XDC, but we really need the team to just continue their focus, continue building, continue making their name known, and we just need a lot more hype. We need a lot more volume behind XDC, and I think that we will get it as long as they continue to make noise, as long as they continue to build, which, again, that has not been a problem at all from the Xinfin team. Then I do think that in the next major cycle, XDC is really going to show its true colors and really kind of shake up the world. So with that being said, I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys did, definitely leave a like, subscribe to notifications on. If you guys have more free content, you guys are more than welcome to follow me on Twitter and join the free Discord down in the description below. As always, up to you all. Have a beautiful day, beautiful night. If you guys are on this before, this has been Nick. Peace out, guys.